ready for a burger bite? This is Bryan and Ryan from the Burgers and Fries podcast, starting our
us.
brand new podcast.
Kind of, yeah, like a kind of
Special edition. This is our inaugural episode. We'll see how it goes. We've wanted to do some other podcasting for a long time.
We
and
did.
We figured this is a
rephrase
good
that. We have done other
outlet for
podcasting
it.
for a long time.
We have done other, yeah, but we've been on a Bob's Burger kick for over a year now. And sometimes we just want to talk about other things, and we like podcasting. This is something we've been doing for years and have
like
many
talking.
different shows and have many different guests, and hopefully this is going to be an outlet to have more guests and to have more discussion about anything and everything that we want. I think that sums it up, right? Is that fair enough?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this one will be out on our regular Burgers and Fries feed, and then after that, we'll decide if it's going to be something on Patreon, if it's going to be something separate. But this one's just going to be a nice little, just an outlet for us, just a special episode that'll come out on like a Monday or a Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
Just to kind of
Not to disrupt our normal Burgers and Fries flow.
Burgers and Flies.
The Burgers and Flies, they got downgraded. It's no more fries. We get a whole heaping bowl full of flies.
Well, if it was the Budweiser frogs, we'd enjoy that.
Yes, that's right. So, what we want to do for this podcast specifically is because we are in Wisconsin. We are stuck in the cold and the snow and the very, very cold, record-setting cold. Negative 55 is supposed to be tomorrow.
Cold today.
It's pretty cold
everywhere.
So, Ryan had an idea to talk about bingeable TV shows. You want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, so since it is negative 50 and nobody's going outside tomorrow, or
Hell
tonight,
no.
or for the next 3 or 4 days, yes, people will take time and do housework, do some cleaning, maybe just sit under a blanket with some hot cocoa all day, just to try to enjoy the fact that you're not outside in negative 50-degree weather.
Right.
One of my favorite things to do almost all the time, if I'm cleaning, if I'm working on a podcast, if I'm working at work, if I'm anything, there is a TV show usually on, or a show of sorts on, that I will watch and just kind of binge through. Sarah's the same way. I know, Brian, you're kind of the same way. If there's a show that you want to watch, we live in this world now where you can binge TV shows. You can binge them.
That's the greatest thing in the world. My wife and I are watching Superstore and what's the other one? The Good Place. And we just keep going. Now we're all caught up, and now we're watching it live when it airs or the day after it airs on Hulu, and we're like, oh my god, like, especially with The Good Place, it ends on these cliffhangers from every single episode. And I just kind of said, like, I miss the days when we could just binge this. Why don't we just wait a few weeks, let a few episodes build up, and then we can kind of crank out 2 or 3 at a time.
That's essentially what I've been doing. Is I won't watch a show until usually it's over, and then I'll binge the season. Or I'll wait until like season half and then watch it. But like in the meantime, there's plenty of older shows that I've either never watched and I'll get into it and watch it all, or there's an old show that I've watched repeatedly and I'll go back and watch that, usually over other things. And the one thing that comes to mind for everybody is one of the most watched shows on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And we're not talking about House of Cards. We're not talking about The Crown. We're really talking about The Office. So shows
that is
like
the most streamed show that Netflix has. It is crazy how much people watch that show over everything else. Did you see the chart that they put out for that?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, there are plenty of shows out there that have ended that you can go through and that are easy to binge. Now, we could talk at length about every single show that we would ever binge, but I want to get a couple. I guess, ground rules for what a bingeable show is.
Sure.
So, because you could binge any show for the most part that's over, and you could enjoy it. For me, what makes a good bingeable show are the shows that aren't the shows that are hour in length. And that's not to say that, like, I can't binge House of Cards because I do, or Mad Men because I do, but the episodes are a little bit longer, and it requires a little bit more viewing for those. Like, it's not just a
Well,
show
you
after
have
a
to
show
pay
after a
attention
show.
a little bit more because the shows are so dense in that sense that there's a lot going on. There's a lot of story. They're very story driven. Whereas The Office, yeah, has a story, but you can miss an episode or two and still get the gist of what's going on because of how the episodes and the show itself is laid out.
Sure, and you know, and part of that is you don't have to pay attention, especially when it's like cold like this, or if I'm at work, or if I'm working on a podcast. I'm not watching the show intently. I need it to kind of be like background noise,
Sure.
but I still enjoy what that show has to offer. If I'm binging a show, it's great to be able to kind of listen to it in the background and catch a joke or catch something, and then I'll pay attention for a few minutes and then go back to what I'm doing. But if it's a show like Mad Men, if it's a show like I love The West Wing, and I'll binge The West Wing, but I actually have to watch it, or like Sherlock. You know, that's a really short show.
God, Sherlock is so good.
That's a short show, and that is a good bingeable one, but it's just too long sometimes. I have to sit and actually watch it. And then,
Right.
yes, that is like more of the true definition of binging it, because I'm actually just I'm engrossed in the whole thing. But for me, at least, a show that I can pay maybe 60-70% to and still enjoy and get the amount of it, that's kind of a good bingeable show for me. I
Right.
guess what makes a good bingeable show for you and Holly, or just you in general, when you recommend a show to binge? What are you looking for?
So when I look, wow, that's a really good question. So for a bingeable show, I mean, there are several, right? There's the Futuramas, there's Bob's Burgers, obviously. There's,
Sure.
you know, The Office and Parks and Rec, and I think it comes down to characters, right? You have to be invested in the characters, and this goes for just about any TV show, but you have to be invested in the characters and the story to kind of keep coming back, especially after the third, fourth, even fifth rewatch. I can't tell you how many times my wife and I have went through and watched the entirety of The Office US. So, and we keep going back because it's like, oh, it's Pam and Jim. Remember Pam and Jim? Or, oh, Michael did this. It's so funny. And it's so beautifully written, and it gets you to care about the characters. And I think when you have that, then people are going to keep coming back to watch it again and again and again because they want to relive, those moments with those characters time and time again. So that's my 2 cents on that
Sure.
on the matter.
Well, what's your favorite bingeable show then?
Okay, that's a very loaded question.
It is. What is it?
My wife and I actually have a list that we kind of go through.
I'll be honest with you. This list here doesn't have it on there.
The Office?
No, it's not on here.
That's terrible. That list should be thrown right out into the garbage.
Yeah.
There's no point in listening to anything that person has to say, especially since that show is the number one watched show on Netflix, and it's not even a Netflix original. It's insane. So I would have to say Office, Parks and Rec are probably the biggest ones.
Sure.
For sure. There are others that we watch.
Why?
We go back. Why what?
Why is that your favorite?
Okay, so many reasons. The shows themselves with the characters I mentioned before are absolutely incredible, right? The relationships that they build with each other, the relationships that they feel that they build with the viewer is incredibly important to the viewing, the enjoyment of these shows. So to go back time and time again, it's just maybe we just kind of sitting on the couch, and after a long day you watch an episode or two and you go to bed. That's really kind of when we do our TV time, right after the day is done. That's
not
when we find the
binging
most time
though.
to do
That's
it.
watching an episode and going to bed. I want to know what your favorite show is to watch back to back to back that you've watched and sat and watched.
Oh,
for
definitely
6 hours
those.
or 7 hours.
Definitely those. If it's a Saturday, we don't have anything to do, well, we're going to throw on 4 or 5 episodes before something better comes along. And it's always going to be one of those shows.
Okay.
Parks and Rec and The Office are probably the top two. I don't know if I could name or if I could say which one's better than the other, but it's definitely those two.
Okay. What is your favorite show that you could sit and watch the whole season in a day? Would it be
Sit
one of
and watch
those two
the whole-
also?
Like a whole season? Yeah, it would definitely be one
Yeah.
of those two. Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, for instance, I like watching those shows. I'd like to binge those shows, but I find myself actually sitting down and watching, like, the full season of Clone High before I'll watch, like, The Office or Parks and Rec.
Sure.
Just because, it's one season, I'm done with it. After that, I'm done. And it's only, like, 6 hours to watch the whole thing.
What about Scrubs?
I love Scrubs. I can't watch the whole show though. I got to stop at like season 4. After season 4, I mean, season 5, 6, and 7 are good, and 8 are fine. But like, that's the same thing with The Office for me. Like, I'll stop watching The Office around season 7. I'll stop watching West Wing around season 5. Just because the shows themselves, they morph so much. I'll stop watching Simpsons around season 10.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Simpsons
I stopped watching.
That used to be like my go-to.
I don't
was
watch
The Simpsons.
I don't watch any Futurama beyond season 5. But after the first cancellation, I don't watch it.
Makes sense.
I have them all, but I don't watch them. So I don't really binge whole shows. I will binge seasons that I enjoy thoroughly. I'll watch Psych up to season 5, I think. Maybe season 5, I think. But then I'll watch the other ones eventually. But there are just so many better episodes in those areas that I would rather watch those repeatedly. Like, I'll watch Psych season 1 and 2 and 3,
which is
on
probably
repeat again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah, that's peak Psych. That's great.
But beyond that, I'm not gonna like seek out and be like, oh man, I finished season 3, I have to go to season 4. That's just not how it's gonna work for me on those. That's the same thing with Office. It's the same thing. Like,
see, The Office, I go through. I've seen The Office many times, all the way through. Parks and Rec is another great one where you can go all the way through.
Okay, I mean, yeah, and everybody binges differently. But I'm not, if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to keep watching it.
Sure.
I mean, I would rather binge the 3 seasons that I love and then go to something else instead of watching the whole series and being like, man, this is kind of boring. I should be watching something else. And I've watched them all through. So it's not like I'm ignoring what happened and being like, I've never seen those and I'm never going to see those. The only time I've ever done that has been with like Simpsons, and that's because there's just way too many, and anything
there's
after like
too many. That's a whole nother.
The ratio of good to bad in that is ridiculous. Like, at least
day.
with these other shows like Office and Psych and even Futurama to an extent, which isn't great after the 5th season, there are still enough ratio of enjoyable episodes to kind of mediocre episodes to bad episodes. That's the ratio's still there. And Office doesn't really have bad episodes. It's just you can see, you know, a lot of what made the show great kind of stops in like season 6 or something. You know, because Pam and Jim get married. There's a lot of these rolling plot pieces that they had to wrap up because there's no way that you can carry out that storyline for 9 seasons.
No, of course.
So once that's come to conclusion, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a logical conclusion for me. You know, the other stuff happened and I've watched it and it was good, but I just kind of like watching that story play out.
So you're more methodical. See, because when I start a season, even with a series with Scrubs, with Parks and Rec, with Office, with Futurama, I just tend to go through. Well, maybe not with Futurama. I tend to go through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Sarah's a lot different too. Like when she's binging a TV show, she'll watch it and she'll binge it, and she'll watch. Like we were just watching the new Sabrina on Netflix.
Yeah, that show's okay.
Which was a good show. She stopped watching it though because it became a different show than what she was anticipating it to be. And she's not going to give it any more time if it's not keeping her interested, which is great. I mean, that's what it should be. And so when these shows are released, like they are on Netflix, where you're getting every episode right away, you can tell within like your the middle of your binge if it's going to be worth watching. So I know for me it's harder to go back and watch older shows that I've never watched before, even with all the episodes out there, because I can just kind of watch the first 2 or 3 and be like, I'm not going to give it any more time. And you and I did that with Bob's Burgers originally. We kind of watched it and we're like, it's okay. And it's just I don't have the time to sit down and want to explore new shows, even though I should. I just want to watch the old stuff that I like. And Netflix and Hulu and just my own personal media collection is both a gift and a curse in that regard.
Yeah, you have a lot of stuff. I find time going through on your Plex, and it's like, man, what am I gonna watch now? What do I have time for?
Like there will be times where I'm not binging, but if it's just like for background noise, I've got playlists of like, here's the Nickelodeon shows I grew up with. Here's South Park from seasons 1 through 15, with the Simpsons seasons 1 through 9, and Futurama seasons 1 through 5, and I'll just push random and watch all these episodes, which is great because then I'm just getting a random hodgepodge of what I like. But yeah, I know what I like, and I mean that's people are going to binge what they like, and that's great. I mean that's why things like Netflix and Hulu and even HBO and Showtime, their own personal things now. You can watch what you want and watch all of it and watch more of it.
More of it than you ever thought possible. What did Netflix say that their biggest competitor was? Sleep?
Fortnite and sleep.
Fortnite and sleep. Yeah.
They just recently said that they're trying to compete, that their biggest competitor right now are like other mediums that like kids are starting to do more of, so like Twitch. But like like just people playing games is really their biggest competitor. They don't care about Hulu because it's a different audience now. Netflix is almost completely, they're switching over to, not almost to completely, but they're switching over to a lot of original content. They're not going to renew their Friends because nobody was watching Friends, but they've got such a good deal on the.
They're not going to renew Friends? Are you serious?
I don't think so.
Oh my god, that's like one of the third or fourth highest rated on Netflix right now.
Yeah, but they didn't get the return they expected on it. They spent so much money on that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's gone. I mean, they got a steal with The Office, and I wouldn't be surprised if that goes away too because the asking point is going to be so high.
True.
But they have to look at what Netflix has to look at what people are watching, and they're already raising the price $2, $3. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's getting up there.
Like for me, if all I'm watching on Netflix is the occasional Office or Friends or something, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, I might go just find the episodes and put them on my Plex.
Yeah.
I think The Office is on Hulu. I already pay for Hulu. I might as well watch it on there.
I actually don't know if it is because I always watch it on Netflix because it's commercials.
Exactly. But I have commercial-free Hulu, so.
Right. Oh yeah, I don't.
And Hulu actually just lowered their price, so.
Oh well, their base price is $5.99 now. Yeah, which is really nice.
I cannot watch The Office unless I have live TV.
Which, yeah, I mean, if they're shoving in as many commercials as they are, it better be like Hulu should be free for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Nope.
Hulu, obviously, they're not going to though.
Hulu does not have The Office, but if Netflix doesn't pick it up, it would revert back to NBC, and then it would be on Hulu.
Right.
So I mean, that's just we'll see how much it is, but that's the nature of this game. We went from people only having cable as their option to then having these alternatives, and now all these alternatives are becoming a la carte systems that are just as expensive as having cable. And it just once you start getting everything to try to consume the same amount, it's troublesome. That that's a topic for a different day on all these different streaming services.
Oh my god, yeah, that's gonna be a nightmare. So we have to talk about Simpsons, and then we have to talk about streaming services for a different day.
No, but I think like for me, I know I asked you about your favorite bingeable shows. Mm-hmm. And you said it was Parks and Rec and Office for the most part.
Absolutely. I mean, if I have to pick one, it's going to be one of those two. It's the one that I know I'm going to get the most longevity out of as far as quality of seasons and how many episodes I can actually just sit down and watch back to back to back to back. It's going to be one of those two.
And for me, it's definitely The Office. And against all of what I had just said, because I'm being an extreme hypocrite right now, Psych is another one that I love to watch.
I love Psych. I think Psych is such a great show.
It's an hour-long show, and I said that it's really hard to binge hour-long shows, but that show is very fluffy.
I think you got me into Psych, and for that I am grateful.
It is a fantastic show, and it is, like I said, it's an hour-long, so it is a little bit more filled than other shows that I would binge, but it is a very fluffy hour. There's lots of humor. There's very few things that kind of go on, and there are audio cues to when something's going to happen that you can kind of look over and be like, oh, okay, and then go back to what you're doing. They're very handholdy in their storytelling, for it being a detective show.
But that's fine though. Like I'm totally fine with that.
Exactly. No, I wasn't complaining.
Just with how the show is set up. Like,
it makes it bingeable. It makes it an hour-long bingeable show because of the way it's set up. So I can kind of watch it and do other things at the same time. But yeah, I mean, everybody's got their own bingeable shows, and it would be interesting if people are listening to this, if they tweet in what their favorite.
If people are still hanging out, man, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not super keen on what we've been talking about.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Hopefully it's good. Oh no, I don't want to talk about instead. I just wish this was more. And maybe I'm just being too hard of a critic.
Well, I'm gonna cut out most of that middle stuff, so don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, that'll be good.
I was trying to, because you'd be surprised how much podcasts get edited down. I was trying to get you into a conversation, and it never happened. So we'll just get rid of it.
Okay, you were trying to get me into.
Did you know?
Well, I was letting you go through. I was letting you go through the whole list. That's
I wanted you to start talking about something. Did you know that? Oh, that's never mind. Never mind. I thought the Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary was on Hulu, and it's not. It's just the trailer for it.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought it would have been too, based on what I have seen on the TV.
But you can watch all the Twilight movies on Hulu now. They have special like posters for them and stuff. It's so weird looking.
Wow, why do I even have Netflix?
I don't know. You can watch the Rent movie from Fox and the one that was released on DVD. You
No
can
thanks.
back to back your Rentness.
No thanks. I won't be doing any of that.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's cold out. We're gonna start binging some shows.
Oh, definitely binging some shows.
Is there anything you're watching tomorrow?
Binge weather, right? It's hibernating now at this point.
Technically, you work tomorrow, but is there?
I work tomorrow. I do work tomorrow. But we're right in the middle of Goldberg's right now. We just started. We're in season 2, so we have a lot of catching up to do on that.
Sure, that's a binge-worthy show because it is a half-an-hour comedy.
It's a half an hour. It's very nice story. It's I don't want to say it's bad because you don't have to pay attention, but it's nice because there's like little pockets hack and just
it's
scroll
bingeable
through.
because you don't have to pay attention. You don't have to pay attention to every detail.
Right, exactly. Now, but this is the one show where it is funny where it is nice that they have this attention to detail because it's kind of a nostalgia trip for everybody who is our age, who grew up in the '80s, who gets a kick out of everything that's going on in the show. So I think either way, you're good. You can either pay attention to it, you can not pay attention to it. I think. It can work either way because even if you kind of go through it with like we do with West Wing or with Psych to a lesser extent or Sherlock, right? Well, it's okay because there are little tidbits, little things for you to kind of pay attention to zero in on, to be reminded of this little nostalgia trip that this did take, that this show is taking place in the '80s and that you remember it too because you're old and this is all you have in your life is television.
Yeah. No, I think this is about the time of year where I start binging West Wing again. So
it's yearly for you?
Pretty much. The first 4 seasons are.
All right.
And again, another hypocritical thing of me to say because it's an hour-long show. But I've seen it enough times now where I can kind of have it as background noise.
Okay.
The first time I watched it, I definitely had to sit and watch it. But I'll have it on in the background. It's kind of nice to always watch that. And then The Office is one of those things that's always a go-to for me, especially when it's colder out.
Yeah, The Office is almost like the perfect show.
I think tomorrow is going to be more of a catch up on some movies day because a lot of the Oscar-winning movies Oscar-nominated movies are coming out, so it's going to be watching some of those maybe. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it'll just be video games and TV shows,
which is just fine. That sounds like you have a good snow day planned for yourself.
Yeah, and I have a snow day. I think I have a half snow day on Thursday too. So
you have a half snow day?
Well, campus is closed till noon. I can't go in.
Oh, I see.
Noon. So I may not even just go in at all. I might just take a half a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the final bite for our podcast here. We just wanted to kind of try something new, just get a little bit of a small discussion in about binging TV shows when it's cold out, because we both do plenty of binging.
Plenty of binging, plenty of video games, plenty of listening to podcasts. What are podcasts that you binge?
None.
Really?
I don't have a long enough drive really anymore to kind of binge podcasts. I actually binge more YouTube videos that I download and stream and listen to in the background while I'm driving now. So I'll have those on like long form documentaries that people like YouTube creators release, and I'll listen to those.
I see. Okay.
Instead of podcasts.
Sure.
So like for instance, the other day I was just listening to I found a series of there's a guy who is going through all the different Fallout games and trying to beat them in different ways.
Oh, fun.
So like the one that the most recent one that he released, I actually just came out today. I haven't even watched it yet. Is can he beat Fallout 4 without spending any caps?
And I bet you can.
He did one where can you beat Fallout New Vegas by only walking backwards? Can you beat these games without taking any damage? So every time he took some damage, he'd have to reload the game and start over, or start over from the last save that he made.
Oh my god, damage! Ugh.
It's like these are just fun to listen to. They're fun to watch, but they're just fun to listen to.
Oh, yeah, I bet they're fun to watch.
Describing the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, for a lot of the time, I'll just listen to YouTube, on the back because we have the YouTube Red, because that's part of the Google Music that I have, so I can just listen to download these, listen to them in the background. I'll go back and binge. If you want to talk about bingeable things, I'll watch on YouTube. CinemaSins. I'll go back and rewatch those all the time just because they're fun.
All right.
Even though I've seen them a bunch of times, again, it's short enough. I can kind of half pay attention and still get some chuckles out of it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of what I binge now is mostly just like YouTube long form shows. Like I don't watch like top 10s very much anymore, or top 8s. I'll do a couple of those, but there's a lot of content on YouTube that is, informational and just, fun. Like SB Nation I showed you a couple of months ago. Like SB Nation has all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that really does.
They just released.
They have a lot of fun charts. Like chart party is one of my favorites.
Yeah, they just released a new beef history today. I haven't watched it yet, but it's a 16-minute beef history of Shaquille O'Neal and Dwight Howard, and it's like, that's awesome. I want to watch that.
That is awesome.
So yeah, I mean, I don't do too many podcasts. That was on a tangent on stuff I do on YouTube, but I don't really listen to podcasts that much anymore. Once in a while, I'll listen to Wrestling like 83 Weeks, which is Eric Bischoff talking about stuff during the Monday Night Wars, but I don't do many podcasts anymore. Just because
I feel sorry for you.
Anymore. Why? I don't need to listen to.
No. I just found a lot of podcasts that I really enjoy. Criminals being one of them. Crime Town. 30 for 30 does podcasts. Conan just came out with some podcasts. So
my ADHD's taken a different turn, and things like that. If it doesn't catch me in the first, like if it's not flashy enough for me, I'm not listening to it.
Dude, Crime Town's super flashy, and Criminal's really well done. You would like them both.
How long are they?
Oh God, like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. It's just it's one of those things where,
25 minutes, 29 minutes, 26 minutes for Criminal. Crime Town, you're looking at 36, 43, 28, 19, just depending on, what episode they do. So they're good. They're good podcasts. I promise. I'm not gonna
I know. I'm not saying that they're not good. I haven't listened to them. I can't say that they're bad. I'm just letting you know that currently the way that my brain is functioning, it's very hard for me to listen to podcasts if there's not
there's not enough stimulation going on.
Yeah. Exactly.
I've been there, man.
And I can't shift a medication, so it's just I got to deal with it. So.
Yeah, that's no fun. I completely understand. So. It is not fun when you want to do things and your brain just won't let you do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a daily struggle for me. But that's a different burger bite. We could talk all about my ADHD.
Oh my God, yeah, we could do ADD. We could totally do an ADD one. We have 3 episode ideas for next time. So, you're gonna have to edit this. You're gonna have to edit this down.
Wait till we get to that ADHD episode, then we'll have another 15.
God, we're gonna have like 40 episodes. We get to ADD episode.
We'll other things to say.
Exactly. So that's probably going to do for us. You're going to have to do maybe a little fancy editing here to see if...
plenty of editing, because we're at the 39-minute mark, and we wanted to stay below 30. So
I only wanted to keep it around 30 minutes. There's no reason to keep it any longer than that.
I can definitely find at least 10, 15 minutes to drop from this thing.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
So anyway, yeah, that's going to do it for this burger bite. We kind of started with binging, and then we went to binging podcasts, which is just fine. But it's all about binging. It's all about doing stuff to stay warm when you're cold. And stimulating the brain is one of the best ways to do that. So I hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast. We still do our releases of Burgers and Fries every Thursday. This is just kind of a little fun thing for you to get a little bit of a different take on us. We weren't talking about Bob's Burgers for an hour. It was something else completely different.
For almost an hour.
I said an hour.
We'll chop it down a little bit. So, let us know what you think if you care to, or what your bingeable shows are. Right? We are always in the need of more bingeable shows. So,
a bingeable show that'll go on my back catalog because I'm very stubborn to watch anything new. But it's not that I don't want to. It's the ADHD. It's the I'll stimulate myself with that, and then something else. So,
exactly.
It's gonna be a good day for that. So
yeah. Been there. So we will speak with everyone at a later date.
Yeah. Look out for our next Burgers and Fries.
Yeah, look out for the next Burgers and Fries. Watch out for the next Burger Bites. Maybe it'll be better next time. Maybe it'll be worse. Who knows?
It'll be another delicious morsel that you can savor.
That's right. Well, I'm Brian.
I'm Ryan. See ya.